Hi, dear Facebook users. I'm very happy to have you all in front of your computer screens. Today, we're going to discuss verbs and the prepositions that are associated with traveling and are used in traveling contexts. We're going to travel by train. We're going to make hotel reservations and we're going to deal with the situations you may occur inside the hotel. So traveling is one of the greatest pleasures in the world, and people travel not only for pleasure, but for business as well. Business traveling is the period when you're away from your main office for your business. So you may travel by air, and we talked about it the other time during our previous meeting. You can travel by train, you can travel by car, by bus, etc. And each of them involves a specific vocabulary to be used with, and you've got to be well aware of it, because if you don't know what to use, you may appear in clumsy situations. So when you use any means of transportation, the main preposition is by. So you say to travel by. Okay, you say to travel by plane, to travel by train, to travel by car. But if you don't use any means of transportation, but you prefer to walk, you say, I go on foot. So, for example, you might come up with an example like, I'm traveling to Chicago by train. Or you may say, we went, or for example, I traveled about 2 miles on foot. And if you travel by car, and this is my car, you've got to first of all get into the car and out of the car. So you've got to be specific about this, because Armenian people that learn English quite often make a mistake by saying, in Armenian we say "նստել մեքենա," and when you learn English, sometimes you come up with an expression like "sit down in a car." No, this is not correct. You cannot sit down in the car, but you'd rather get into the car and then get out of the car. Okay, but if you're traveling by bus, by train, by plane, or anything of the kind, you say, I get on the bus, and then you get off the bus, or by plane or train, etc. So if you travel by train, you need to get a ticket, and if aircrafts depart from airports, trains. Let me show my card. So trains start from railroad stations. Okay, and first you've got to find the correct platform. And platform is, okay, let me show you the card. You've got to find that platform. And platform is the place where passengers stand to wait for their train, or they wait to board the train, etc. And you usually can get a first-class ticket to a train, a sleeper service, a business class, or a coach class. And sometimes trains come up with, you can get tickets for train with reduced prices. Reduced prices, that is, tickets with specific discounts, that is, that the price is reduced. Mostly this kind of tickets are provided for children, for extended families, etc. So when buying a train ticket, make sure, you be specific, because you may get a reduced ticket and pay less. In the meantime, I just wanted to ask you to come up with your questions if you have them. I'll be happy to answer them. Since technology is advancing, and out of regular trains, you can also get high-speed rail tickets. So make sure that you've got to pay attention when buying a ticket, whether this is a regular train or high-speed train ticket. By saying high-speed train ticket, I mean that you can reach the point of destination earlier. So high-speed rail ticket or regular. Okay, and some companies pay directly for the transportation and for the accommodation of their employees when they're traveling. But out of that, they sometimes come up with specific money. They give their employees specific money for extra expenses that might take place, and that money is called per diem. Okay. You get per diem, for example, for like taxi fares, or for laundry services, or for Wi-Fi charges, etc. Once you quite safely reach your point of destination, the first thing you do, you directly go to your hotel. And if that's a business trip, you're most likely to have reserved a hotel room in advance. And you can make an online reservation, or you can make you can reserve a room via email or via telephone. And inside the hotels, the rooms might be of different types. So you can come up with single room. Okay, single room is intended for one person. That's a room for one person. You can get a room that is a double room, intended for two people. You can get a twin bedroom. This is again a double room, but the beds are separate. And you can get a suite. So this is a more luxurious room. Mostly suites come up with KitchenAids inside the room. That's a specific place where you can prepare very, very light and quick lunches or meals, like coffee with something, with a biscuit or something of the kind. So they are mostly inside the suites, right? And for you to make a reservation, hotel reservation, you've got to first of all master specific vocabulary or specific expressions. So you can, for example, reserve a room by saying, "I'm looking for a suitable room near the," and you can come up with the place you're going to work at, or you can say, "I would like to reserve a double room for the period of," and you state the period that you're going to spend in the specific place. Or you can say, for example, "I'd like to reserve a room in the name of," for example, Lilith, me, or "I was wondering if I could get a suite for example, the 15th of this month." Or you can say, "Do you have a vacant room for the period of," or you can also say, if you're talking the payment terms, you can say, "Is there an available twin bed for the, for example, 18th?" Or "I'd like to pay through credit card." And once you reserve the room, the next thing to do is to ask for a confirmation of your reservation. So you can say, "Could you please confirm my reservation?" To cap it all, to finish the process of reservation. And when you discuss the terms of reservation, you might be interested, for example, in the payment or in the facilities. And to ask for facilities or payment terms, you can say, for example, "What are my payment options?" Or, for example, you may say, "What are the rates per day for a single room?" Or, for example, you may say, "Can you offer me any discounts?" Or, "Is breakfast included?" Or, "Have you anything bigger, anything cheaper?" Or, "Do you have a car park if you're interested in?" Or you can say, "Do your rooms have Wi-Fi or air conditioning?" And you can also ask, you can say, for example, "Please give me an indication of your rates per night, including full board." Full board means that the meals are included in the price. But you've got to be able to differentiate between a full board and an all-inclusive, because if it is full board, it means your meals are included, but non-alcoholic drinks are not included in the price. By saying all-inclusive, you mean that everything is included, including alcoholic drinks. So sometimes unpredictable things happen, and you've got to you have to, for example, cancel your reservation, or you need sometimes to change the date of your reservation. So to do it, you can say, would it be possible to change the day of my reservation to, or for example, you can say, would you like to change, I would like to change my reservation, please, or you can say, I'd like to cancel my reservation for the reason of, and you can state the reason, or you may not state the reason. It depends on you whether you want it to be highlighted or not. And when you arrive at the hotel, the first place you get to, that's the lobby. Lobby is a big hall, and that's on the ground floor mostly. That's the main hall of the hotel, and you directly head to the check-in desk, to the reception desk, or to the front desk. You go there to get the key to your room. Mostly keys are now different than the regular ones. I mean, regular keys are like metallic, and today's keys are plastic cards. So you get your key, and you may come across specific people in the hotel. So if the hotel is luxurious, it may have a concierge, a porter. By saying concierge, I mean a person who will deal with certain affairs outside the hotel. By saying porter, I mean a person that can, for example, fetch your tickets or run for something or something of the kind. And you may also see bellboys or a bellhop. So a bellboy is the person who helps you with your luggage. He helps you carry your luggage to your room. You may also come across a person who is the valet. The word is spelled like V-A-L-E-T. You may come across a person who is called valet, and he's the person who drives who drives your car away when you arrive at the hotel, or if you want to leave the hotel, he pulls in, he brings the car, and I mean that's all done for your comfort and for your luxury. And sometimes you've got to be very there is a word, actually, which is very important in hotel industry, and the word is complimentary. Complimentary means free. It means that, for example, for example, some hotels come up with complimentary breakfast, complimentary shampoo or shower cap, and things like that. So this is a good word, complimentary. Okay, and if you're traveling on business, you may need an executive desk inside your room. Actually, not all the hotels come up with it. Executive desk. An executive desk is actually a desk where you can sit to write something, to read something, and if you want the desk to be inside the room, you've got to make sure that you have it beforehand, in advance, okay? And sometimes you also need a safe, and that's a metallic box where you preserve, for example, your papers or precious things, and if you're working, sometimes you don't even have time to have meals. And in such cases, you will make use of room service. Okay, so room service actually provides you with meals inside the room. So you may call and ask for a room service, and they will bring your meals to your room directly, and you will not leave your room. Mostly this is not a free of charge service, and you can pay immediately, or you can come up with an expression like, please bill my room. It means the bill will be included, the room for the bill for a room service will be included in your final bill. And if you're staying in a hotel, you definitely are going to be in need of housekeeping service, or they also say turn down service. So housekeeping service allows and lets housekeepers get inside the room and make the beds and clean the room. And the best thing about housekeeping that I like very much is that quite often you arrive at your room and you see a small chocolate or a piece of mint inside the room as a symbol that the room has been cleaned. So this is actually the nice part. And mostly rooms have TVs. Well, not mostly, but today all hotel rooms have TVs with local channels or with satellite channels. Still, you've got to be a bit careful because there are some channels that are not free of charge. They are pay-per-view. So they are pay-per-view. Okay. For example, you want to watch the final of, for example, World Football Championship, and you switch the TV on to watch the World Championship, the final match. But later you come to realize that this was not free of charge. So better clarify whether the channel is pay-per-view or not. Okay, and airports mostly have airport shuttles. So airport shuttle is the service that, actually that's a van, that's a large van that comes up with regular trips to the airport and then back. So if you don't want to get for example, a taxi to the airport, you can order a seat in the airport shuttle. Okay, so airport shuttle. And while staying at the hotel, you may come up with different requests. And the hotel room always has a tag, and that's a do not disturb tag. So if you want to stay on your own, if you don't want to be disturbed, don't forget to label the tag, to put the tag on the outside part of your door, and the housekeeping service is not going to disturb you. Or, for example, you may come up with other requests. For example, like you can come up saying, can I reserve a conference room for 6 a.m.? Or, for example, you might say, can I have a projector, a flip chart, a marker for my conference room? Or you may say, could I please ask the housekeeping service to clean my room? Or, for example, can I ask fresh towels? Or can I get a wake-up call at 7, for example, a.m. if you need to be woken up? Or can I hire or rent a car? Can I have a taxi? Can I, for example, use laundry services, etc.? And the time comes when you're finally on the point of leaving the hotel, thus you need to check out of the hotel, okay? And together with your bill, you get a kind of a surprise because you get a bill for things that you didn't intend to pay for. Still, you've got to do them. Your charge may include the previously discussed pay-per-view, remember? So pay-per-view, these were channels that you were to pay for. Mostly minibar is not free of charge. It means, there are specific things in the minibar like beverages, cookies, or chips, and sometimes you make use of them, but you don't realize that you've got to pay for them. So be specific about minibars. And amenities, okay. Amenities, these are things that are, again, not free of charge. Mostly they include spa centers or saunas, etc., right? Okay, and the most important thing, don't forget to, my card is small, don't forget to tip the waiter or, for example, the maid of the room, because that's important. It's important. You've got to be grateful to people who serve you. And since I talked about being polite and being grateful, don't forget that politeness is of crucial importance, because I mean, you've got to be very polite if you are in a not very familiar culture. Better always turn to politeness. And when you want to express your gratitude, you can come up with expressions like, I appreciate it, or I'm very grateful, or you can say, for example, thank you very much, like generally, thank you very much, Mr. Harutsunyan, or something of the kind. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. You can write them on in the comment field. But before you write your questions, I want to invite you and to introduce Leo from Counselor section. Let's meet him and let's welcome him.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me here in your virtual classroom. My name is Leo. I'm a diplomat, and I am a consular officer here at our embassy in Yerevan. That was a wonderful lecture, so I think you have already all of the vocabulary and so much information that will be very useful, whether you're traveling in the United States or another country where English is required. I've traveled quite a bit myself as a diplomat, but even before I was a diplomat, especially as a student. And I remember some interesting experiences that I had. For example, my family is originally from the Czech Republic. It's where my great-grandparents came from. So I was traveling there in the Czech Republic and going to a very small village where some people from my family had lived. I didn't know exactly how long the train trip to the village would take, and so I didn't have the information that I needed to get there, and I didn't ask anyone. So I thought, well, maybe we're close to the village now. So I walked out to the door of the train, and I was looking around trying to see if this was the right place. And by the time I realized this was the town that I was traveling to, the train had stopped and started to move again. And so I actually had to jump out of the train that was moving to get onto the train platform. So you don't want this to happen. You want to be well prepared, and you have all wonderful information now on how to make reservations. Another thing you can do when you're at a train station is ask for the train schedule. Say, can you tell me when the train will arrive, for example, at Grand Central Station in New York? Can I please have a schedule? And don't be afraid to talk to other passengers. I think you'll find, especially in the U.S., that other passengers will be very happy to help you. So you can say, can you please tell me how many stops it is to Penn Station? That's another phrase that you can use. And I don't know if this was mentioned earlier, but when you're booking a ticket on a train or any other form of transportation, you can book a one-way ticket just from the city you're leaving to the city you're arriving in, or you can book a return ticket, or it's also sometimes called a round-trip ticket. So you can ask for a round-trip ticket to New York. So if you're leaving from Washington going to New York, this ticket would also get you back. Regarding hotels, I think it's also important to ask, as was discussed earlier, what is included, and that's probably the best way to do it. You can say, is breakfast included? You can say, are meals included? Or you can ask about also the way that we're communicating right now. You can say, is wireless internet included? How do I access the internet? Can you give me the wireless password, for example? And I think a great way to practice this vocabulary is by actually going onto some websites and looking on hotel websites, maybe looking at a website like the Amtrak website, which actually lists the information for trains in the United States, so that you can get used to seeing that vocabulary before you actually interact with someone in person. And as I think has been discussed in previous chats, you know, practice this with friends, or practice it in front of the mirror with other people who are learning English or speak English. That will be extremely useful. And when you're traveling, don't be shy. Just be prepared and ask other travelers, and ask the people who are there to serve you the questions you need to ask to complete your trip. So thanks very much again for having me. It's a pleasure talking to everybody here in our Facebook audience, and I hope we'll meet again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
And safe travels.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
the most important thing. Okay, and if we go on, we've got a number of questions, and I'm very happy to answer them. Nuna Vartanyan is thanking for this opportunity and asks for lessons regarding letter writing and email writing. Dear Nuna, so these are the topics that are surely going to be covered. So in the coming lessons, we're going to have a lesson, or even if the topic is a bulky one, we're going to devote 2 lessons to them, depending on the content. And I wanted to go to the part of per diem again. Okay, so per diem, this is the money that is paid by the company to the employees for extra expenses. The extra expense might be, for example, taxi fares. That might be a hotel, minor, for example, expenses. That can be, for example, inside the town transportation. I don't know, like bus fares or something of the kind. Unexpected fares. That's a money given to the employee for unexpected fares, okay? And I wanted to show you once more the card of getting into a car and then out of the car, and getting on the bus and off the bus, train, plane, etc. Okay. So, and let me see if we have more questions. But before closing up, I want to pass over the previous lesson exercise in case you wanted to get the keys. But this way or another, where from today's lesson, we're going to upload the keys of the previous lesson as well. So I will quickly run over the exercise. So it says, welcome, may I have your tickets? Here you go. Is anybody else traveling with you? So the word was traveling. No, it's just us. Do you have your passport with you? Then, yes, here it is. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Please respond with yes or no. Okay, did someone you do not know ask you to take something on the plane with you? No. Did you have possession of your luggage since you packed? Yes. Did you leave your luggage unattended? So the word was unattended at all in the airport? No. Are you carrying any weapons or firearms? No. Are you carrying any flammable materials? No. Great. Can you place your baggage over here? The word was baggage. Sure. Would you like an aisle seat? And if we go back to the previous lesson, so the aisle seat was the one close to the row, and window seat, that's the one close to the window. A window seat, please. Okay, I'm placing you 2 in 21A and 21B. The gate number, the word was gate, is C2. It is on the bottom of the ticket. You will start boarding 20 minutes before the departure time. So the last word was departure time. C2 is located around the corner through the hall. Thank you. Can you point me to gate C? Sure, it's that way around the corner. Great, thank you. And so our next meeting is going to take place on the 7th of December, again Thursday at 5 p.m. and you can get all our previous lessons on the Facebook page of the U.S. Embassy Yerevan. So you just need to go to the U.S. Embassy Yerevan. Don't forget to like the page, and you can watch all the lessons there, and you can find all the materials for the previous lessons on the site. I was very happy to have you all at today's session, and I hope to see you all next time on the 7th of December, Thursday, 5 p.m. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.